Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to the ADHD Reframe Project podcast with me, host Emma Craven. And today I am joined by Julissa. So would you like to just do a little intro to yourself, please?
Of course. Hi, I'm Julissa Torres. Welcome to the podcast. I'm CEO of Triumph Over Struggles Advocacy and Consulting here in New York. I provide resources for peers, like other peer specialists, because I am a peer specialist, and families and individuals that are seeking support around navigating the systems and other just supports around getting, let's say if they need social security or if they need IEP help with IEP meetings for their kids. So like all different ways to advocate and like help them.
What's an
And I
IA?
also
Go
oh
on.
what is
Go
what?
on. No, go.
Sorry. Oh, also I provide workshops and trainings for organizations and individuals that around different knowing your rights, different things like budgeting or even like navigating systems, working with people with trauma, working with people with psychosis, working with people with ADHD. So all different types of resources.
Honestly, yeah. It's a pleasure to have you then. I had a brief look at your LinkedIn profile, but to be honest, I'm not going. I never tell lies. I'm always very honest. It's been a busy week, so it's great. So thank you. Did you say an
Welcome.
IAP?
IEP. So
Uh,
IEPs are like individualized educational plans. So it's like people that are in like need extra supports in school due to their disabilities.
okay, that makes sense. I mean, advocacy is kind of like it's been my life's work, so it's so nice to sit and talk to another advocate that's as passionate about supporting vulnerable people. So yeah, it's amazing. So, what is your diagnosis journey? Are you diagnosed? Are you
So
self-diagnosed?
so I was actually diagnosed when I was 16. Um at my first hospitalization, like psychiatric hospitalization. And also, after that, I was taken off of medication when I turned 19 and I developed a diagnosis of bipolar disorder, because I also have severe PMDD, in addition to like my severe ADHD. So, it cycles. So it looks like, bipolar 2 rapid cycling, but it's not. And then trauma addition to it. Oh, right. So currently it's PMDD, ADHD, complex trauma, and there's possibility of hypermobile Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. So I'm gonna get genetic testing done soon, for that because I do have chronic pain,
Me
and
too.
yeah. So they say it's like kind of fibromyalgia,
Yeah.
but yeah. So I'm on medication. I just started like low dose naltrexone to see if that helps. But everything I've been through all my options already. But if it's EDS, that also makes sense because I've also had pain since I was like very little, as long as I can remember. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I am diagnosed with fibro. I got diagnosed about a year after I was diagnosed with ADHD. So yeah, it's just it's a conversation that is sometimes a little bit difficult to talk about because I've always had pain. I've always had pain, but I never really understood what was going on because the GPs, the doctors always used to say it's in my head, like you're just imagining it. And it's like, no, I'm not now. But
Yeah.
I got diagnosed with ADHD when I was 43. That was in 2019. Yeah. And then fibro a year later, 2019. And then complex PTSD in 2021 or 22. So yeah, there's a lot of kind of crossover when it comes to
Yes.
pain and mental health and stuff. But it's interesting that the medical professionals thought that you had rapid cycling bipolar, but
Yeah.
actually it's PMDD. So do you want to maybe explain a little bit about what PMDD
Yeah.
is?
Yeah. So PMDD is something called premenstrual dysphoric disorder, and it's basically your body responds very strongly to your own natural fluctuation of hormones. So my hormone levels are normal. They checked all of that. It's just the fluctuation of it over the 26 to 28-day cycle. Basically, for 15 days out of the month, I would be extremely depressed, suicidal, anxiety through the roof, perseverating thoughts, rejection sensitivity. I had, so bad. And like all my like depression and stuff will just overflow. And then for the other 2 weeks, then I would be kind of like good and like a little bit more energized. So they would see that as kind of like bipolar cycles, but it wasn't severe. They would think it was like hypomania, but also like my mood will shift so much during the day, which is also tied to like trauma and also ADHD because like we respond very strongly to like external stuff. So without having like the regulatory skills and the coping mechanisms, it was difficult for some time until I've like kind of developed it more. Um and like with the fibro, the way my neurologist described it to me was that like my body is like, let's say there's a pain or something that happens, right? I also had like scoliosis, I have some disc degeneration, a little bit of arthritis. So like what they typically would see in the regular population, like the things that I have, and to the degree it wouldn't cause pain, it wouldn't cause much pain, right? But because my nervous system has been turned up so long in like fight or flight due to all the trauma, it kind of gets stuck there. So even something minuscule, your body is just overreacting to it. So like doing things like calming the nervous system, vagus nerve, I do like IFS therapy, EMDR, polyvagal, like vagus nerve therapy. So I've done so many different types to just try to help regulate my nervous system to kind of help turn that pain down. And then I'm also on a lot of pain meds for that too.
Oh, thank
Which
you.
don't really work that well.
Of course they don't.
No,
No, they don't. They don't. Yeah, I love that you
no.
just kind of joined that up as well because there is a little bit of it's information. It's not actual research, but it's
Mhm.
becoming more. There's more information coming out around late diagnosed ADHD women and complex PTSD, but also fibromyalgia. And fibromyalgia
Yes,
can actually be linked to gynecological operations. So I've had it. I've got polycystic ovaries, endometriosis. I've had one of my ovaries removed now because it was just constantly
I had
flaring up.
one too.
Yeah,
I had one removed. I had a dermoid cyst on my ovary, the size of a softball,
geez.
and they took it out. Yeah.
So yeah, and then there is kind of links to that for women. But yeah, chronic pain medication. Oh my God,
Uh-huh.
just
I think my link, honestly, the link with the like fibro, this is called central sensitization. Basically, I think it's linked because I was also born with HIV. And at one point, I did develop an AIDS diagnosis prior to my hospitalization when I was 16 because I didn't want to take meds because I was getting side effects from meds. So I think that having the immune dysfunction because of the HIV, that is also a factor for the chronic pain. So it might be secondary. It might be secondary to that. And then the trauma and like, it's just all of it, like just a sandwich piled on. Like, the switches were there, but like the trauma turned all the switches on, I think is what happened, honestly.
And it is becoming a reoccurring theme. I think the more women that I talk to, the more that they struggle, um, or they're highly sensitive to physical pain, and then you
Yes.
can link it all in together, can't you? So it's, yeah, it's becoming more and more kind of widely understood, but also talked about. And yeah, pain medication. I stopped taking morphine because while I was waiting to be diagnosed, because the pain was so severe, the doctor prescribed morphine, oral
Mm,
morph, and also morphine tablets. And I've stopped.
wow.
Yeah, I stopped taking morphine. I think it was a year ago, or maybe
Hmm.
18 months. And
Hmm.
since I feel much better. The pain has not
Yeah.
changed, but I do feel
Yeah.
better because the side effects of that were just bad. It was horrible.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize how bad it was until I stopped taking it, if that makes sense. And
Hmm.
so, yeah, it's
Yeah.
just, but yeah, chronic pain, treating, managing chronic pain is
Hmm.
just, it's a mind,
Yeah.
it's just,
Yeah.
ugh.
I I'm on so many different meds, and like I also suffer from restless leg syndrome, RLS. So, and it's severe. So the medication that they gave me for my pain that was working, because I was also on Lyrica, so Lyrica, like pregabalin. So that one, but that one affects me cognitively, but it did help. Then I couldn't go higher on that because of the cognitive stuff. Then I can't work, I can't function. So I had to go on something called Namenda, Moment, Netine, Namenda, whatever. It's like an Alzheimer's medication, and they showed promise, and it actually did work for my pain, but it aggravated my RLS, and I can't increase the Lyrica to cover the RLS. So I had to increase my Lamictal, which helps with my PMDD. And Lamictal did help my RLS a little bit, but not to the point that I needed. And if I increase the Lamictal, cognitively I get worse, and I can't increase the Lamictal. So it's all it is playing. So I just started low dose naltrexone, and I'm on day 17 of it. And it's helped my RLS. Pain, not that much, but my fatigue, it's helped because they were thinking also like maybe chronic fatigue because I'm so tired all the time. Um, I'm exhausted all the time. Yeah. So and I stay active and I move a lot. I really don't know. Like there is a huge crossover, but I think like the research and the science is out there. It's like finding the doctors that are up to date, or educating ourselves with it and bringing it to them.
And yeah, I've had some quite negative experiences when I've tried to kind of advocate for myself when it comes to doctors in the UK. It's almost like they just look at me, and I can read what they're thinking. Like, they look at you as though to say, why are you telling me this? Because I've been to medical school and I'm medically trained and you're not. And I'm like, it's just, like, it's just, I it is what it
Right.
is. No, I mean, I think I've got medical PTSD now, because every time I have to
Definitely,
go,
I do too.
yeah, every time I have to go and see any medical professional, I go into a bit of like a meltdown and have like huge anxiety flare ups and stuff. And it's just like, uh, it is,
No,
it's not pleasant.
that it's no, it's not pleasant, but it's understandable. Like I don't get like that. Like I just at the point where I go to the doctor if I have to go to the doctor, but unless I don't have to be there, I'm not going. You know what I mean? And I just hate going. And like I shop around for doctors. I'm not scared to just fire a doctor and find another one. Yeah. So that, you know, so I wonder, I don't know how the UK is set up because I'm here in the US. Um, but yeah, can you shop around for like, can you look around for different doctors, or the wait list too?
No, with my doctor's surgery, I've found one doctor that I see about everything, rather than going to different doctors in the surgery for different things. So I just see one doctor because it's easier. Then you haven't got to explain like the history
Yes.
and you haven't got to tell them your life story when you go and see them, when you just want to talk about, something.
The issue.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
So, one of the most interesting things recently was that the doctors had. I went to see a male doctor who is my usual doctor, and he did hormone level tests because
Mhm.
I'd been perimenopausal ever since they took my ovary out when I was
Mm.
40, and it was just getting increasingly worse and worse and worse, and I was so angry all the time. And then I went to see a woman's doctor, a ladies doctor, and she put me on HRT straight away.
Mhm.
And they go more for like symptoms rather than hormone levels now in the
Mhm.
UK. And I've been on HRT for 2 or 3 years now. I can't remember exactly when I started taking it, but definitely feel like better. Like, it's just the cognitive fatigue that I get. When you're just tired and you can't really concentrate on any
Mhm.
thoughts or anything, and
Yeah.
it can be really, really, really debilitating some days. But like I have a lot of fatigue, like extreme
Mhm.
fatigue, where it's like my head feels heavy. I can't lift my head up. It's weird, and it's that tired that I'm just like, I just can't, not today. And then when the pain flares up, I know this is not possible, but this is how bad it feels. But it feels like the end of my hair's hurt because everything is so painful, and even soft, like painful to touch. And
I feel
yeah,
like my skin hurts.
yeah,
Like my skin hurts.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I can feel that.
So
I'm like, thank, like I don't get it as widespread as I used to. Now I get it more centralized to my hip, my back, and my neck. Um, and I'll take that. I'll take that definitely. It's still like a lot, so
you know,
get it.
it's
But
weird because I've always been like, when I was younger, I was always really like, my pain threshold was almost non-existent, and now it's like I've got used to a certain level of pain. And it's like, I don't even realize that I'm in more pain unless my
wow.
partner points that out. But it's like, yeah, when the pain gets really, because I, like you, I get a lot of pain in my neck, in my spine, and in my tailbone right at the bottom, and then I get a lot of
Mhm.
pain, like sciatica down both legs. And
Mhm. I guess sciatica.
yeah, and it's like, I kind of almost manage a certain level of pain, but when it gets really, really bad, it's like, it almost knocks you off your feet, doesn't it? Because you're like, whoa, this is like, what the is going
It's a
on?
lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like gotta kind of like lay down and stuff in order to be more comfortable and like relax. Um, yeah, the sciatica pain, the shooting pain sucks. It really
Mm,
does.
yeah.
Like with me, it was the opposite. Like I used to have a very, very high pain tolerance where I like pain just never used to phase me. And now zero. So I wonder if like, you know, maybe after like getting my ovary taken out, like I wonder if that did like turn the volume all the way up. You know, you know, I also had epidurals with both of my kids, so that also affects back pain, contrary to what they say it does. It really does. You know, I think with like the hormone stuff, I was on hormones for my PMDD, but like hormones typically make me suicidal. Or very depressed. And I found one that actually finally worked, but also I would bleed very irregular and stuff. So the one that finally worked, I did not bleed irregular. I think it was Yasmin I was on. And it like I took it for like a year or two, and then I was like, I can't do this chronic low level depression that the meds aren't helping. Like, yeah. So I got off of it. But the Lamictal works better, but the Lamictal, unfortunately, just for me, because I'm just very sensitive, my period with each dose increased. So like my period was like 6 days, and then I went on Lamictal, then it was like 7 days, and now it's like 9 days with the dose increase. So it makes it longer, which is annoying.
Bless you.
Yeah.
So considering everything you've got going on, you still manage to work and support people. So, hats off to you. How do you kind of do you have any kind of coping strategies in? Because I love helping other people, and it's my purpose. I always say that if I'm helping someone else, it gives me that sense of purpose, and I need that sense of purpose. So I wonder if you have the same experience.
So I love helping people. I think it's just more so that, um, yes, there's a sense of purpose there, definitely. I think it's also just something that comes very naturally to me. And it's just like, I don't have to put extra effort into, like, it's just me. It comes naturally. So it's so organic that I don't have to like mass through it. I don't have to like exhaust. Like, you got to deal with red tape and stuff with like working in general, but like, I mean, like with meeting with like the participants and the clients that I work with, like that, um, in that way. With my kids, I got to be there for them. I have both my kids are neurodivergent as well. So it's three of us and we try to use different ways to like it's difficult because like I'm also spent by the end of the day, so I then have revenge bedtime procrastination because like after I get the kids in bed, then I need to have my me time because I can't really have my me time when I come home because it's like my second job, just taking care, doing the kids and stuff. I'm blessed to have like some supports. Like my son has a home attendant, also like a behavior technician. So like there's different like those type of supports and his therapies that come here. So like that supports I have, their dad takes them and sees them and stuff. So that's good too. But for the most part, like it's just a daily grind of work. I work full time, so work 40 hours. Then I have, you know, take care of the kids. I want to do more with my business, but like, I also got to work. Need money, I need a feed. So like, yeah, I can't just take full time. Like it's just I use what spoons I have to get through and figure it out that way.
Or you've just mentioned the spoons theory. Do you want
Mhm.
to say a little bit about that?
So the spoons theory, basically like when somebody has like either neurodivergence or chronic illness, um, they have a certain amount of spoons for the day. So like you could wake up. If you wake up and your pain is like at a high level, or if you wake up and like you're in like your luteal phase versus your follicular phase, like you may have less energy. So you have less spoons. So like taking a shower may take like 3 spoons. Washing the dishes may be like 6 spoons. Cooking dinner may be like 4 spoons or and like so you have to ration what are you gonna do or at least do partial of what you can do in order to maintain and not burn yourself out. I think that is the way I can describe it.
Yeah, I love that. I heard about the spoon theory quite a while ago, and it removes the shame of not being able to do more in a day than I can. Because you have different spoons for different days. And
Mhm.
some days you might have, say, 20 spoons, and other days you might only have three. And yeah, it's fascinating to kind of break it down into like small steps and chunks of, this is all that I can do today. But yeah, I'm not going to beat myself up about it because it doesn't mean
Exactly.
that I'm a bad person. It just means that I can't do more today.
Exactly.
So what about ADHD then? Were you 16 when you got diagnosed with ADHD?
Yes. Yeah, the signs were always there. Like in all my report cards is like can't sit still or not organized, needs to try harder. Like all my testing was great. I couldn't get the homework in, losing papers, like all everything, hyper, everything. Check all the boxes. Nobody got me evaluated. But like my siblings were evaluated and was on medication. Oh, where was that? My adopted siblings, but nobody got me evaluated for it. So when I wound up going to the psych hospital when I was 16, um, to get out of my adopted home, also they immediately put me on ADHD meds because like I don't think they could even like interact with me much until I was like 12. So yeah, that was like immediate. And then it was like, yeah, I need this. I have ADHD. So yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. Uh,
Yeah. And then it took 7 years to find a doctor willing to put me on ADHD meds after I was taken off when I was 19. So yeah. So during those 7 years, I was on disability, everything, because it was like I could barely work more than like full time. I could barely work part time. I was struggling. Could barely make it through school. So yeah.
it's insane. And I know a lot of social media, there's a lot of debates whether you medicate, don't medicate, medicate, don't medicate. And I know it's a very personal journey, but for me, I am on medication and I've been on medication since I was diagnosed. And I just would, it's not easy. And it's not a dependency, is it? Because obviously the
No,
meds,
absolutely.
yeah, they increase the chemicals in the brain, the dopamine, the norepinephrine, and it's like I sometimes
You're on Adderall
um
uh, or
no, I take
Wellbutrin.
Concerta, so Concerta
Concerta.
XL, yeah.
Okay.
So I didn't like
Okay.
the quick release. I
Yeah.
prefer the slow release because the quick
Yeah.
release used to
Okay.
make me feel really anxious. So I just
Oh,
take,
yeah.
yeah. It's
Yeah, because Concerta is methylphenidate. Yeah, I'm on Focalin. So I'm on dexmethylphenidate, which is it's like the purer version, if you want to say, of it, more potent. It's like, yeah, so I'm on that one. I know all the different meds. That's like my hyper focus, my hyper fixation.
You should do some training so you can prescribe the
Oh, yeah, I would
medication.
love. Well, I can't prescribe them. I'm not a doctor, but I can definitely educate and like have people understand that also with ADHD meds, like which I've had to actually educate psychiatrists about. Like there are so many different formulations of ADHD medication. Yet there's non-stimulants and there are stimulants. So yes, there's two classes. The non-stimulants it's guanfacine, clonidine, Wellbutrin, Strattera, those. Stimulants, there's Adderall and methylphenidate. So, amphetamine, methylphenidate. So that's methylphenidate. So it's like with all of that, then there's so many subcategories, which is like how the medication releases, how many hours, what is the formulation. So it's not equivalent. So when they're like, just take this, no. Because like even with Concerta, I was on Concerta at one point. The generic form, it doesn't have the same release system as the other one. So I would have to fight for the one with the oral delivery system and be like, because the other one will give me panic attacks. And I would literally have panic attacks like clockwork at 3 o'clock. And, like, it was like 12 and 3. It was like mini peaks. Uh, you can't make it up. So it's like so many nuances with it of medication, but like I understand all like how to like navigate it and
I
stuff.
mean, for me, after COVID, the Concerta XL went out of stock throughout the whole UK, and they offered me a couple of other ones, and literally I was just dazed and confused, like 24/7. I couldn't even
Oh, wow.
think
Which
straight.
ones you tried?
I can't remember what they're called now.
No,
Uh,
no.
it
Okay.
probably begins with an
No.
M, or I don't know. But yeah, it's like they just made me feel like really dazed and confused. Like, I
Oh,
literally was just like, no,
no.
thank you,
No.
no. And so eventually the Concerta XL came back in stock, and oh yeah, I managed to get it back, and so it's the only one that really works. I've tried the others, I've tried quite a few
Yeah.
others, and they just don't, and obviously the biology for us as humans, different medications work in different ways, don't they? And you
Yeah.
need different, and sometimes you just things just don't work very well. Like you said about the
Yes.
pregabalin or the gabapentin, or I can't remember which one you
Hmm.
said, but
Yeah. Well, I'm on pregabalin, but I got off of gabapentin and went on pregabalin, so I was on both before. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like it's like different meds work for different but
Hmm.
differently on different people. It's like the oral
Yep.
morphine. When I used to take that, there was one, two of them that didn't used to make me feel sick, but one of them that did. And it's
Hmm.
not arguing, but the debates with the pharmacist, they're like, they're all the same. And I'm like,
No, they're
no,
not.
they're not. And I'm not even
They're
medically
not.
trained. And it's like, and then
So they're the same overall. Like the main ingredients are the same, but the fillers and all the other background ingredients are not. And those are the ones that can affect you and affect absorption. And so, well, it doesn't affect absorption, but like if you have certain things going on, it may interfere. It may make you nauseous, and then you throw up, which affects absorption. So there's different ways that it can affect you. It it's unfortunate that that you have to like fight so hard. It's the same here in the US. Just FYI, it's the same, unfortunately.
I mean, the reason why they wanted to give me that one is because it was the cheapest one. It was the cheapest one out of all of them, but it used to make me feel sick. And I'd be like, I just can't. I'm just glad I'm not taking that anymore now. It's a dirty, dirty, dirty prescribed medication. I know there are people that need it, but no, nasty stuff. So yeah. Uh, how does your ADHD turn up for you each day then? Is it different? Is it
So I'm more appropriately medicated, so that's good. How my ADHD really manifests is I have a lot of emotional dysregulation with my ADHD. Um, I also have like executive functioning challenges. And like now I'm trying to like think into the mode, but I'm like, I'm kind of more steady. So it's like hard to get into that zone. Like if you ask me at night, I'll be able to tell you everything because the meds are on my system. So now I have the meds in my system and I'm like trying to catch the symptoms and I can't because I'm like,
yeah,
it's like, okay, I'm appropriately medicated. So I can't tap into that part of basically it's like I would be like, let's say I go and I start something. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go put something away. So on my way to go put that away, I see something else that needs to be done. So I never get to put that away. So I wind up going doing the next thing. And then it's like multiple of that. So like when I'm appropriately medicated, typically I can complete the task. Or if I get interrupted, it's usually maybe one time. It's not like interruption, do something, interrupted from that thing, doing something else, interrupted from that thing. So it's like six different things I'm interrupted for. And then now everything was
yeah,
um, and then I'm also way more exhausted without my ADHD meds. Like, and I think that's why they were saying like my neurologist had wrote in her note, like possible chronic fatigue. Because like even with the stimulants, I am still fatigued, but stimulants are also a prescription, like a treatment for chronic fatigue. So yeah, so I'm extremely exhausted without it. No motivation. I can get very depressed, especially depending on my cycle, and I have to adjust my ADHD meds for every part of my cycle. So I increase up to 12.5 and I do at 2.5 when I'm ovulating.
yeah, exactly, exactly. And I think that's like this one of the biggest things, we're trying to remember to do things, or for me, time blindness is I can never really kind of understand. I can never really tell you how much time something is going to take me to do, and it usually takes me much longer than I think it is. So yeah, I struggle with memory, I struggle with time blindness, struggle with just, thankfully my partner gives me like countdowns, 20 minutes, babe, 15 minutes, 10 minutes, 5 minutes. Then I get up and start manically rushing around to leave the house in 5 minutes. And he's like, why can't you just do it at 20 minutes? And I'm like, I just can't. Sorry. It, and I know having ADHD is like a big contradiction, because we can't answer a yes or no answer. We have to give a backstory. But if anyone, exactly, exactly. Exactly. But then if we ask a question and someone gives us a long-winded answer, a long-winded answer, you've already answered the sentence in your head and you're like, oh, hurry up. And, it's like one of them huge contradictions. Like, we have to tell you the backstory and we have to go around and round in a circle and you need to know the full life history. But if you try and do that with us, I'm like, oh my God, hurry up and just finish the sentence. Yeah, to stay, to give you attention, and I'm just like, "Oh," yeah, and if you no, 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 you go. Yeah. For me, if I actually say it out loud, so if I say we're gonna meet tomorrow at 1 o'clock, and if I say to you, right, I'll see you tomorrow at 1 p.m., I won't be late. And it's like that accountability then to that person will make sure. Then, I mean, I might be a few minutes late still because I get sidetracked so easily. But it's almost like that verbal kind of accountability that I need that to kind of make sure that I am going to turn up tomorrow at 1 o'clock. But yeah, I have tried and I do try every day just to make sure that I know what's happening in the day and I know what I've got to do, how I've got to do it, where I've got to go, who I've got to see, etc., etc. Just because I just the shame of either being late or completely and utterly forgetting something is just I'm just I don't need to get put that on like myself because it's not really good. It's not great for your well-being, is it? So yeah. So it's that kind of shame cycle that I want to try and break out of. So yeah, it's weird. It's just like, I'll say I'll see you tomorrow, I won't be late. And it's just a little something in the brain. It's just like, right, 1 o'clock tomorrow. And I don't know about you, but do you have like if I have an appointment in the afternoon, say for instance I have an appointment. Yeah, you can't, yeah, you literally can't. Yes, 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 yeah. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's weird. It's not weird, but yeah, it's like I call it the ADHD waiting room where if there's an appointment in the afternoon, I literally can't do anything else on that day until the appointment's finished because and I'm like, you just feel like you're sitting around waiting like forever. Um, yeah, so you literally cannot do anything else in before the appointment, and then yeah, it's funny. It is frustrating, but I think I've just learned over the years to kind of just laugh about it, laugh at myself, not, not in a derogatory way, but just, this is how I am. And yes, there are. Exactly, exactly. I can put some strategies in place, like I've got reminders on my laptop, on my phone, on my iPad, like reminders my partner, like I have them going off like every 5 minutes to kind of remind me. And still, sometimes I will get very easily distracted, but it's just like like some huge coping strategies are just the best things to kind of to break that shame cycle. So, yeah. So, is there any kind of positives you'd like to talk about around your ADHD? Because I love to kind of think about positives. Yeah, 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 yeah. Which is sad. I think. Bless you. Yeah. But also, I think when it comes to the chronic fatigue, chronic pain, I kind of look at it now as though it's my body's telling me that I need to rest. And obviously, rest to us is very different to a neurotypical person. But my body is telling me that my mind is kind of too active sometimes, and I need to just sit down. I need to co-regulate. I need to self-regulate because, I get very overstimulated quite quickly and overwhelmed. But yeah, I see the try and kind of put a positive spin on it, like the fatigue and the pain is like it's my body telling me that, do you know what, I mean, you just need to sit down for 10 or 15 or 20 minutes or half an hour and just rest and try and concentrate on something that's not, your brain's not kind of, yeah. So, although it's not pleasant to be in pain 24/7 and to be fatigued and have to push yourself past the point of yeah, just of everything, it's not nice. And obviously you get burnt out, but I just try and see, like positives in and people might say, oh yeah, it's toxic positivity, but to me it's not, because I lived a life of being told that I was too loud, I was too much, too oversensitive, to this, to that, to whatever. And obviously, like you've explained, there's a huge element of masking there. And now I can't be bothered to mask anymore. Exactly. Yeah. 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 I'm not doing it. Yeah. Yeah. No. Yeah. 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 It I mean, oh my God, me as well. Like, I'm just like, I don't. Like, I'm masked. I do still mask in some situations, but for the most part, I don't. And I just will. I'm not going to apologize anymore, because I think that's just a waste of time. And I don't actually do anything wrong. I'm not going to apologize, because I'm not just. Don't just. I'm Emma. I don't just have ADHD. Like, there's other parts of my personality that are big and colorful, let's say. And I just think that I'm not gonna, like, I lived a life of dampening down everything, and I'm nah, no, yeah, yeah, because you're not too much. It's as simple as that. You're not too much, and if you are too much for people, then they're not your people, are they? So it's just about choose. It's about, I see it as finding a tribe, finding your people, finding people that actually love and respect and you can trust and understand you, and then you can just be yourself. And I've had to step away from the narcissistic mother and narcissistic brother and have no contact with them at all. And to be honest with you, my life is just a million times better. Yeah, my PTSD is not triggered as much. There's no, like, I don't, and I'm not going to put myself into that overwhelming, like, trauma response, even just by someone mentioning them. I'm not going to put myself in that anymore, because I'm 50 years old now, and I'm building a life for myself that's for me. And I'm not, I just refuse to do anything that will be detrimental to me. And if people don't like that, then I'm sorry, but you can kiss my ass. um there you go, girlfriend. Yeah. So, yeah, I just, oh my God. Yeah. what I know we had a little bit of trial and tribulation trying to get into this so we could record, but yeah, I love it when people turn up as themselves and you just you, and I'm like, oh my God, like if I could get and squeeze your cheeks, I would, because yeah, please do it. Please, please, please do it. Um, but unfortunately, I've actually got to do another appointment at 4:30. Sadly, what time is it there in New York? Are you 5 hours behind us? I'd like, yeah, yeah, yeah. I'd love to. Yeah, yeah. I'd love to have you back. Please come back. We can talk about anything. I don't, please come back. That'd be great. Yeah. If you had a topic, I don't know what a topic is, but if you had a specific topic you wanted to talk about, then by all means, please come back and see me again. Okay. Just book through my booking link that I sent you then, and we can, yeah, but come back as many times as you want. I'm happy to kind of, yeah, just, yeah. It's been an absolute pleasure. And yeah, it's really nice when you meet someone and I felt in like seconds, I was like, yeah, yeah, I feel comfortable with you. Yeah. Um, exactly, exactly. And if people telling you that you're too much, then tell them they can kiss your ass, aka see ya. Okay, say it in your head. Say it in your head and walk away. You do the little walk and so you just like, yeah, no girlfriend. Yes. Yeah. 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 I love that. Okay, so I'll try and be a little bit more like, peace and love, and I'll just do a little walk away from people that think yeah, too much. Um, yeah, yeah. That's the thing with me though, is I'm honest. I'm too honest and I'm blunt, and there's no kind of thought in the deliverance. I'm just like, do you know what? No, I'm not having it. I'm wagging the finger. Yeah, yeah. But yeah, please do book again because I'd love to, yeah, love to be able to talk to you about well, anything really. Yeah, we can maybe pick apart your advocacy stuff because I mean I could talk about that for forever. That'd be amazing. Yeah. Anything. Yeah. Yeah. No, neither am I. Yeah. 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 I love that. Yes, I love that. Uh, but yeah, please do come back. What an absolute honestly, we've gone on a full range of topics, and I think this is what I love. Just turn up and let's just talk and see where the conversation takes us. So, thank you so much for your time today. To my listeners, if anything we've talked about has resonated with you, or you know someone that it may resonate with, then please do hit follow and share. just to try and get the messages out that we've talked about, not just today, but in the other episodes. And I sadly for today, Julissa, it's been an absolute pleasure. Um, Thank you for your time, and I literally cannot wait to see you again extremely soon. So fingers crossed. Um, yeah, and to the listeners, you will see us both again soon. So watch out, aka my ass. I can't. I said ass. I've said it 4 times now.